Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone watching the stream. Thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. We understand that we have U.S. men's national team action at the same time. Uh, they're up 2-0 with 2 goals from Diego Luna. So thank God for that. Maybe an easy going night. But we do have what I think is a good show lined up today. But first and foremost, how are you, Mr. Mark? How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Recovering from a little trip to South America, but I'm doing good.
All right. I'm sure that your liver is on the operating table trying to salvage itself from the trauma that it suffered this weekend. But, kudos to you and your liver surviving it.
Yeah,
I think all of those are positive things. Um,
thank you.
while you were out having fun, um, our team, Inter Miami, was out catching a good old ass beating, belt to ass, um, 4-0 halftime uh, score. Tell me your overall thoughts on that ass whooping that was PSG in the Club World Cup. And the reason why we're getting into everything kind of is because I have a special derailment today, but I think it's going to be a good discussion. But go ahead. What did you see?
Um, Expected. I don't think I think a lot of the hope was coming if we had the perfect game and PSG somehow fell over and didn't look so good against Botafogo or didn't look so good against Seattle Sounders. I don't care about that. You know, a team of that quality is going to show up at some point, and they did. Um, and all it takes is one game, one half, one goal for them to snowball into the great team, the great club team that they are. That's what it is. Miami can't compete with, you know, the biggest of the big. Um, sure, they beat FC Porto, but they can't compete with Man City. They cannot compete with PSG. Cannot compete with league champions in Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona. It's that simple. So it was. I wasn't shocked. Um, a lot of there was a lot of hope around the Inter Miami community and stuff like that. Oh, if talent's going to beat you any day of the week when it shows up. Um, it's just that simple. They played us off the pitch. We could not control the ball in their own half. They did whatever they wanted. It was in slow motion for them, pretty much. And but other than that, Inter Miami had the best showing out of the MLS teams. Beat an international opponent, or an FC Porto team, drew to Al Hilali, and then drew with Palmeiras. Yeah.
Look at
Never
this.
really wore. Yeah, I know. You've never really seen me wear glasses, but yeah. Um, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I feel that what was it Sunday?
Which game?
The PSG game Sunday, right?
Saturday.
Saturday?
No,
I think it was
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday, you're
So
right. Sunday.
so what the game showed us on Sunday was the fact that football isn't a linear universe, a linear world. That there are many, many different levels to the soccer universe. And the Club World Cup has showed us how together certain levels on the universe are and how far other levels on the universe are. For example, PSG, Man City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, all of these teams are on a level in this universe that is far, far, far away from the levels that are a little bit closer. Levels like the Egyptian League, the Saudi League, Liga MX. And then there's leagues that are within catching distance of your universe, like the Brazilian League, the Argentinian League. But they are on a different level than the MLS and the leagues I mentioned before. And I feel that in the case of the MLS, it's designed to be on those lower levels where the South American, Brazilian, and the Argentinian leagues are just out of reach, and the big Premier League teams are just you're never going to catch them as things currently sit. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
But I mean, you can even say that Liga MX is out of reach for the MLS right now after the drumming that they put on us on the two top teams this year in the CONCACAF Champions Cup with who was it? Who did
With
Vancouver lose
Monterrey
to?
and
No, it was Monterrey, and then um,
Cruz Azul.
no, who did? It might have been Cruz Azul. Yeah, that they beat Vancouver handedly. And we haven't really beat or really played that great against the Mexican League in the last two tournaments that we've seen.
But would you say that
And
they're out of reach, or that they're
no,
just
they're not. They're
better
not. They're not
on
out
our
of
level?
reach. They're ahead of us, but we're reaching towards it.
So we're on the same level. You would say there's just a little bit out of reach. And listen, Jordan, we're gonna get to that because there's a real good. If you're new to the show, towards the end of the show, I call something a derailment. I always bring a topic. Usually, it's U.S. Men's National Team, but that kind of throws the show off the rails, and we tangent into many different things. But for now, on topic. Inter Miami, clearly not on the level of PSG. It felt that PSG at halftime completely let the foot off the gas and coasted the rest of the way. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they could have easily put another four past us. It is. I mean, we were never in the game to begin with. Once we drew to Palmeiras and we knew it was going to be PSG, it was pretty much over. Anyone who tells you otherwise is just, really, really optimistic and, just really praying for a miracle. You have to look at it from, reality standpoint and, figure out that, these players are just going to look at the players that we have and just go, okay, I'm going to dribble by you whenever I want. You're not going to do anything about it. And that's what it looked like. Jello was getting, turned inside out. Noah Allen gets hurt, then Aviles comes on, and it's just a terrible. Scores an own goal, picks up a yellow. João Neves puts two goals in. Fabian Ruiz, then it's an own goal. It was just, a total discombobulation for Inter Miami in a game that, so many had eyes on for some reason. I really didn't think of the outcome as anything other than, the better team won, clearly. And their leagues, the MLS is still leagues behind the top leagues in the world.
Okay. I have something that was said by someone that carries a little bit of weight in the football world. And I want your thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
Leo Messi didn't lose. Inter Miami did. Messi is playing with statues, not teammates. He's surrounded by players who run as if they're carrying bags of cement. If he were on a real team, in any big team, you'd see the real lion. Messi plays only because he loves the game, because he can still do what 99% of the players can't. There are no coaches, no stars, not even players who understand how to move without the ball. This is not the Messi I know. If you put him in a real team, he'll still set the stadium on fire. The author of that quote was none other than Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Zlatan.
Yes. What are your thoughts
I
on
mean,
that bombshell of a quote?
I mean, the team looks like statues against. If you put these guys against the recent UCL champs, they're going to look like that. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
You put them up against MLS talent, they're going to look just as equal and better. It's just who they're playing. It comes against who they're playing against. That's all it is. The higher the competition, the better the competition, the worse they're going to look.
Okay, but do you agree with what the second part of that quote, which is if you put Messi on a real team, he's still the Messi we remember?
At this age right now, I don't know. I mean, he'd certainly, draw the attention. He might, but it's tough. It's a what if scenario. It's a hypothetical. I mean, I don't know. Can he? he might be able to. But
My thoughts are this: on a big team, or as he calls it, on a real team, Messi will have his moments of greatness, but his body is going to
I
break
mean,
down.
he still does for the international
Right,
for his national team.
but
So
his body's going to break down. It's like
at some point,
running an old lawnmower on high, or running an old lawnmower on low. On the
mhm.
MLS, he can play on low, have his moments of greatness, and play a lot longer. Whereas at a Man City, at a PSG, at a Barcelona, he's going to have to rev it to high because of the quality in his opponent, the quality around him. And I feel that at his age, his body would break down at a much higher rate than it does. His body still breaks down here occasionally. So, do I agree? Yes, but I think it's very selfish because I think that playing in the MLS allows us to enjoy Messi for a little bit longer than a La Liga, a League One, or a Premier League would allow us to. Yes,
Okay.
agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay.
I can agree with you.
Coming up, we start this Saturday back in MLS play with
Hmm.
CF Montreal. It's a 7:30 p.m. start. Um, what do you see the squad doing the rest of the MLS season? What are the expectations given the Club World Cup results? Do they change? Is it just what are your overall thoughts for the rest of the way here in the MLS? We got another 3.5 months basically.
I think it's still the same as it was to start the season. It's still win the MLS Cup. Um, there's no reason that they shouldn't, especially given how they got out of the group in the Club World Cup. It's MLS Cup or bust. Um, there's some injuries on the team, but I still expect this team to go out, beat Montreal, who's just a terrible team. We beat them 2 games before we started the Club World Cup at home,
Mhm.
so I don't expect anything different
They
going into
currently
Saturday. And they currently said what?
they currently sit sixth in the standings. They're about 11 points from first place. The biggest difference is that they have 4 games played less than the rest of the field.
I still think Inter Miami should beat this team and pick up points and move forward into the season. Just,
In order to get to first place, they'd have to go near perfect. Four
I
for
mean,
four in terms of wins. So they're going to be
do it.
hovering in the third, fourth place. My guess is. Um, so supporter shield not a priority. Priority is win the cup.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, the Supporter Shield clearly does nothing, as we saw last year.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. Um,
We're not a team that,
we
like in Europe, if you finish first, you win the league. No, it's a tournament style, so win the cup.
do you foresee one of the things we've been calling for a lot, which is rotation, keeping legs fresh, using the bench that in the MLS is deep. Clearly, our starters aren't up to snuff against PSG, so it's hard to use the bench. But in the MLS, we do have a deep bench. Do you anticipate Mascherano learning from that first half where the team kind of started to break down, started losing, failing to get results because of lack of rotation? Do you expect a shift or him learning in that aspect?
Um, at this rate, I don't think a lot of rotation is going to be given. The only way it's because of injury. Right now, we have that. But the guys that are playing now, I expect the guys are going to keep playing until some of these other guys get healthy. Maybe Yannick Bright gets a spot back, or Ian Frey gets a spot back after his groin strain injury. We're going to still see Luis Suarez go 70 plus minutes per pretty much every game. So, and then he's going to use
So
his subs sporadically. So we're just going to have to keep the same thing going as it was in the first half. I don't think he's going to change it.
Two questions. One, what do you think about David Martinez being returned back to his team? Go ahead and answer that one, and then I'll ask the other one.
I think it was kind of expected. Had Carr fall off the lineup already, out of the lineup. Um, there was no real contract negotiation. So I mean, I wish they had a plan for another to bring in another center back, but I don't think they do. There's no contract negotiations, no loan purchase, no purchase to buy. So he wasn't playing at the end, so it was kind of expected for him to go back.
Okay. Comment here.
I mean, I wish I can say that, but if there's one that I can see starting, it's probably Suarez.
Okay, the second one is
'Cause he'll-
everyone has a frustration. I know we've expressed it. It was expressed in our chat during the PSG game. I think it's the reason he can't be trusted on the field and why Mascherano just doesn't stop playing him for a while. Obvious.
Mhm.
He's a yellow card machine. He's reckless. He is what David Ruiz was to you last season. Just a complete menace.
Mhm.
And you wanted nothing to do with Ruiz. A lot of people want nothing to do with Aviles. My question is, he clearly has no discipline and control on the field. That's evident with the cards he gets and the types of challenges he gets them on. Do you think this ongoing issue says more about the player leadership on the team, that nobody has pulled him aside and basically given him a stern talk to a nice verbal lashing, or the fact that the coaching staff hasn't done so in a way that has shown any improvement or changes on the field? I want to know your thoughts on that.
I mean, I would like to think that there's been some talking to by a player or a coach, because if not, it's unacceptable if he keeps playing. Um, I know we're down center backs, but at this point, he's just going to be, you know, it's a caution every time you put him on the pitch. And I was one to like Ivilis when he first came in. I had good moments. The yellow cards have always been a thing. We've had center backs who get yellow cards every other game. Figal, Gonzalez,
Figal,
Pires, all those guys.
Pires. Mm-hmm.
But Avila's had the talent, but it's just he just can't put it together, and it's really frustrating for a team that kind of needs a center back to step up in certain times, and he's not doing it right now. So I kind of see why he lost his spot in the team, and for him going forward, it's how to become a better defender without putting your team at a detriment. How
But
to
do you think that says more about his peers or more about the coaching staff, that neither has been able
no,
to?
I think it says more about him and not being able to comprehend whatever is being told to him. If anything's been told to him, because I'm not in that room. No one's in that room but the coaches and the players, so we don't know what's said.
Fair. I just wanted your thoughts on that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
3 points Saturday?
As expected, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Now that we've gotten all the pleasantries out of the way, we're going to need all the time we have for this one, because I feel like it's a nuanced onion type of discussion. I saw a tweet that piqued my interest, and I will bring it up. It says this by Tactical Manager. Every time a non-big European club does something, MLS fans say the MLS needs to spend more. It says, well, no shit. But why would the owners do that? The league is working exactly how they want it to. The insult on the bottom line is unnecessary, but I want to talk about this part. Why would the owners do that? the league is working exactly how they want to. And I'll say this he is 100% correct. Why would the owners? No, yes, but his comment stands on its own. Why would the owners want to change a model that restricts their spending while making boatloads of profit, making the league competitive enough to not be a joke, but clearly, based on this Club World Cup tournament, is not up to snuff, which some of us in the past believed to be with the Mexican League, the Brazilian League, the Argentinian League. Two of those leagues are head and shoulders above us, with the Mexican League being above us as well. Not head and shoulders, they're a lot closer, but clearly the Argentinian and the Brazilian League are head and shoulders above us. What would make the MLS, what is it going to take for the MLS to compete? Or is it ever going to compete with, forget across the pond, with the leagues in its own hemisphere?
I think it starts first with the roster restrictions that this league has with teams. You got to loosen up
Yes.
some roster restrictions, allow money to flow into the teams, allow some teams, allow players to be brought in. But then, what type of quality players are going to be brought into the MLS at their prime age?
Right, but my question is, why would the owners remove roster restrictions that's going to allow them to be reckless and spend more when the current restrictions allow them to do just that? Okay, look at this. That's a good comment. Why would the owners turn it into the wild, wild west when their box allows them to continue operating? Yes, okay, that's true. I agree with that comment too.
I mean, they wouldn't. They're happy with the way it's going, with the way the money's coming in. They're happy with the promotion of Messi is the one thing that's driving the league right now. So they're on that saddle, on that horse, and riding it until it falls off. And when it falls off, who knows what's going to happen?
I agree. I don't think the owners are going to ever want this thing to change. But
I don't.
walk with me. But walk with me. Because I think that things are already set in motion. It's a fuse that has been lit. And only the U.S. Soccer Federation can let it get to the powder box keg, to the room where everything is stored. And I want you to walk with me here. Big news came out not too long ago. How long ago do you think the USL made their announcement? It was what, about 6 months ago, maybe?
Oh, the pro rel thing?
Their league.
No,
Right,
must have
maybe
been
about
3 months ago. I know we spoke about it.
right, somewhere in that area. Okay.
Yeah.
And like Jordan had said, promotion relegation in their version of their league is established. Thank you, exactly. Like their version in their league, promotion relegation has been established. The U.S. Soccer Federation gave them the same rating as the MLS did, as the MLS has, as top divisions in of soccer in the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that two leagues can coexist with the same designation. Only the U.S. Soccer Federation can keep them there. But it is my opinion that at some point you're going to have interleague tournaments, right? Something like the U.S. Open Cup, where you have teams qualifying. I think the USL is going to get to a point where, because of promotion relegation, their league is going to get competitive enough to where you're going to see their top teams start putting a whooping on MLS teams, especially if the MLS owners take the approach that they've taken to that tournament lately, which is whatever, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, if the USL can get that, yes, exactly. I don't think the owners are going to like Inter Miami going to play, and I'm going to use this as an example, are going to like
The Charleston
going to
Battery.
play forget that, the Doral Arepas, who have an influx of players from abroad. They got a really good squad, and they're playing at, oh my God, what's that park in Doral? JC something park, where they're
JC,
playing
not
on
JC
a
Bermudez,
soccer field.
school.
Huh?
Yeah,
Huh?
I know the park that you're talking about. I know the park
Bermudez,
you're
whatever,
talking about.
something. Inter Miami is going to have to go in there, play in front of people standing because there are no chairs, there are no stands, and then they get an ass whooping. They're not going to want it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay, the new announcement that actually helped into, yeah, imagine Inter Miami goes up to New Jersey into a neighborhood, gets their ass kicked, and then has to come home with their tail between their legs. At what point does the MLS start losing credibility within the United States if USL starts whooping that ass? At that point, as Jordan said, promotion relegation is going to have to be forced upon these owners, right? What do these owners do? Do they become the second tier in that system? No. So now you have to open it up and basically play a season and say, okay, we'll take, I don't know if there's, how many MLS teams are there? 30?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that?
30. No.
Okay.
28, 30,
We'll,
30, 29, 30.
okay,
30.
so we'll take the 30 MLS and we'll take however many the USL has. We'll play one year-long season, and at the end of that season, we'll take the top 30 teams, and that'll be Division 1. Right, and that'll be Division 1. And
you have 15 and 15.
Okay, so 30.
You have
right.
27 in the you have 27 in the United States and then 3 in Canada. Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal.
Do you understand what I'm saying? At that point, you would, if you have promotion relegation, you would have to just turn it into a legitimate league in terms of what the rest of the world transactions in. I want to know what your thoughts on my scenario are, because it was a long one and I apologize, but I told you that this derailment was going to be top notch.
I mean, yeah, kudos to you. You outdid yourself on this one. I don't. Where is it? I think Sean said it perfectly first. Before we can move anywhere with anything, the MLS needs to stop losing money. And once Messi leaves, who knows what's going to happen? As we said, that's a world, that's a future. We don't know what's going to happen, what it's going to look like. And then you want the MLS owners to, change things when everything's happy-go-lucky right now. It's not going to happen. They're happy with the status quo of how everything's running. There's money in their back pocket. Every time Inter Miami shows up to their stadium, it's a sold out game. And then you have the USL starting the pro rel system or their mock trial of it, seeing how it's run. But we spoke about that already. Do we really think that's going to be something good in the MLS when you have, as you said, teams from, let's say, a Kendall moving up, and what's the money going to look like at that point? Are they going to be able to compete? I don't think so. So what? They're just going to be sent back every time? I don't know. It's just it is such an unknown, such a big unknown that it's
And
I don't know.
this is where, and Jordan makes a great point. This is where I think it's great for soccer, because now you have, as you said, a Kendall team. You're right. They may never have the monetary funds to compete against Jorge Mas's Inter Miami. But the point is that Kendall may be happy being in the division, in the third division, in the second division. But what it does is it allows the talent that goes undiscovered due to pay for play here in the United States to actually get a platform that allows the talent to blossom. And this is another big important thing. That's
I
something that
remember
might
speaking about
actually work.
parachute payments. Yes,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
spoke about those parachute payments
Yes
when
and
we
no.
first talked about pro route.
See the difference? So it doesn't work in Major League Baseball, but it might work here. Where if an area like Doral that has a rich Venezuelan, Colombian uh, demographic, if you get um, if you get a team that produces talent that may not have the bank flow, and you start transferring and selling these players in a smart way to and yes, 1,000,000% I agree. But if you start transferring these talents to different, and you build up that infrastructure, like there is a way where uh yes, revenue sharing is a different setup, but you have more control here. Where if Homestead starts selling all these players, and you set up your infrastructure in a way, you can pull yourself up from your bootstraps and become a big team. You have to develop your scouts, your pipeline to start bringing these players, and eventually you're you start fielding a competitive team. You keep some of this talent, you keep some of these things, and you can have a small town team that correctly builds its infrastructure become a powerhouse. I mean, I can see it. Your thoughts on
And
that?
we're talking
Years.
that's like a fairy tale scenario years from now. Um, I don't know. I can if I can the talent disparity between leagues or between teams might be too big, honestly. I don't know. It's
It might,
what happens.
or
But what
it.
happens when, let's say you have a stud. Let's say you have a stud from Broward County who's coming up in your ranks. He's 18 years old. At 20 years old, he's balling out. But then
Mhm.
you're in a tournament in a local in a U.S. Open. Let's say a scout from Europe is here, comes to pluck the kid. Then what?
No, that's fine, because you're going to sell him for, I don't know, a $30 million transfer fee. Do you know what $30 million can do
I don't know.
to a Broward County club?
That's I understand, but I don't think they're going to be selling that kid for 20 or $30 million.
Okay, so it's five. A European
And then
team
they do it again the night.
pisses money,
Well,
and
and who are you gonna go buy with those? Let's say they give you $30 million. Who are you gonna go buy? You're gonna tell some kid from South America playing in Argentina league, hey, you wanna come play in the MLS at Broward?
that's a short-sighted view. let's say you sell it for 5 million. You take your team and you say,
Okay.
okay, guys, we're in this for the long haul. Here, number one, here's better wages. And number two, let's build ourselves a training facility that can get the best out of you guys. Let's hire some scouts that are going to go into these parks and see kids and bring them in. And let's see if that one stud can help you build your infrastructure to find 5 more. And that's how you would be able to get. Yeah, yes. Like that's what I think promotion relegation and what USL is going to introduce into the soccer society that is the United States. And I think eventually, not now, but eventually, it's going to knock on the door to the MLS owners, and the MLS owners are going to want to keep it out. But I think that eventually those doors are going to be blown open by the quality infrastructure that is being built in small areas like a Doral, like a Homestead, like in Texas, it would be huge. California, it would be huge. Now, I'm not going to tell you go build it in I don't know, Podunk, Ohio, because you're not going to find soccer, talent. You might, but the odds are against you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can have these communities where you have a rich foreign um, influence and actually find these kinds of players. And it's only going to do wonder. This is something that the U.S. Soccer Federation should be banging the table for because it's only going to improve their player pool. It's only going to broaden the talent pipeline that goes into U.S. Soccer Federation.
Who we're talking
What do you
about?
think?
Say it again. Who do you know? Who are we talking about? Who? Say it again. What's the federation's name?
The U.S. Soccer Federation.
One more time.
Huh?
Say it again.
The U.S. Soccer Federation, the dumbest
Yeah.
organization in the world. And I understand that. But
You
what I'm
just
saying
you
is,
just answered
this
your
is
own
something,
question. You just answered your own question though.
and I
It's gonna
understand.
take. It's gonna take an abundance. It's gonna take the loudest voices in U.S. soccer to make it happen.
Yes. But do you think that
It's that.
USL,
But
but do you think USL doing this is, in a sense, lighting
putting
that
pressure.
powder keg to a point where it cannot be ignored? True, yes. Uh, yes, it's true. However, I think that you can reach an interest. No, I don't think it'll take that long. I'll tell you why. The advantage that the other sports have, basketball, football, um, less so hockey and less so baseball because you need actual organization and infrastructure for those sports. But you go around Miami-Dade and Broward and you find a park, there's 50 kids playing basketball at every park, getting next, doing an abundance of things. Talent develops itself, whether it be in the street. I agree. The owners would absolutely love that. But what the USL does and pro relegation does is it's going to place that pickup aspect, that interest in soccer, where you can develop things outside of an academy, a pay for play structure. Yes, I agree, but I think it's that good old boy, that rich owner club that is going to get blown up whether they like it or not. You
I
tell
mean,
me.
it is such a black hole of what ifs and what can be done, and when in reality, in the next 10 years, I don't think anything's gonna change. It starts from it's I've always said it. What Jordan said, the pay to play kills um, soccer in this country. It always will be. It always will. Um, that's just where it starts. Until
So
that's
you
fixed, I don't think you can have. I don't think you can start anywhere else but removing pay to play.
so you don't think that the USL is the Pandora's box that can blow up the system in this country?
It'll be noise made, but I don't think it's gonna be loud. I don't think the owners will just turn their back to it. The MLS owners.
Even if it garners more
I
interest in the
think I
MLS?
think I think they're so happy right now with whatever with what's going on, what they have, and going forward, they're just gonna try to it's money there about different what deals can they make um to put
Yes,
money
that's it
in their
right
teams
there.
and have a good payday.
Yes, exactly. Listen, Sean, we are on the same page, and I'll use this example. Clint Dempsey. Do you think that if Clint Dempsey was able to play on and we'll use the USL structure right now, team in Nagadoches, that he would have had absolutely no interest in going to an MLS academy? He would have grabbed that Nagadoches team and he would have done everything possible to bring whatever team he could get and start bringing them up the ranks. And I think it would have, you at one point, if that infrastructure was in place, you might have had 3, 4, 5 kids from that team be the backbone of the U.S. national team, because every single one of them would have had that same drive, that same dog, that same heart that Clint Dempsey would have had. And that's where I think it's one of the most. Um, Listen, I'm uncultured swine just half the time. The other half, I can be eloquent and intelligent. But thank you, I appreciate it. Um, yeah, I think that there are a number of little places like Nagadoches where the dog and the pride trumps the money, and I think it's where you get that seed, that you get the beginnings of what, forget Europe, South American culture can be like sometimes, where your pride and your love for that will get you to want to fight the other team. It's what that that is what creates this in what is it in Brazil, these teams where you bleed and die for them, these rivalries where it's been going on for years, and the hate, like, that is what we've always yearned for in this country. And I think it's at the precipice of being available, hopefully in the near. Yeah, that's true. I mean, in England it's the same thing. It's the kids, the poor kids, that you know that it's soccer to get them out of poverty, and that drive, and that thing you don't have here. Here you have prissy pretty boys from prep schools that are your soccer stars. Mm, you want to know where I think you're wrong? In the fact that, look at the NCAA tournament. You can't tell me that pride for those schools is overrated. Look at college football. You can't tell me that pride for those schools is overrated.
I think it comes more. I think it has to do with the tournament itself. When you talk about because it's the one it's you the whole pride thing and that is all developed on one singular game. They show it. You're there for that. It's a one game tournament essentially for every team in the back of their head. They're playing one game every to make it out. The whole
Mm-hmm.
pride thing is going to be very, 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 very um, injected into them. It's the pride for the school. But I think I would agree with Jordan that the pride in for football players comes more from the fans than it does. The players have pride, um, regardless of who they play for, of when they play for, and all that stuff. It's
This is
built by the
true.
fans.
Yes, but
I think
they're revenue drivers. It's that right. It's that pride and that fight that drives the revenue
that
because
you can have all that pride, but at the end of the day, you ask every football player that's ever played for first team football professionally at whatever rank, most of them will say it's getting to play at that first division, at that first rank for the first team.
okay, listen, you
It's
have
it could be
FSU players and players absolutely hang out in the summertime. You have them hang out
mhm.
in the NFL. They're playing on the same team and there's no beef. But
But
come down,
the fans build the rivalry more than the players do.
I understand. But there's that pride is still there in the college ranks. Why? Because it's a piece of you. It's your school where you were born, your school from your city, or the
But do
school that you
you care?
attended.
Do you care more? But you care more than the players do, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Because at
but
the end of the
I
day, once that what
okay,
go,
but that's the case anyway. I care more about football than the kid who all he wants to do is get to the NFL. But it's my care and my pride for that creates the atmosphere and the rivalry that those players want to be a part of. Does that make any sense? It's not. It might if it means where you came from, and that's what I'm saying. Um, who knows where, especially now in the NIL era, these kids who play in Miami may be offered more money to go to Alabama, Ohio State, and they may take less to stay home. They may take less to play in front of mom and dad. They may take less in terms of soccer now to play in front of those that have you and your interest and cheer for you than to go play for Inter Miami. If, and this is the big thing, you can eventually get to the same place they do. Yes. You want to know why it killed college football? Because now the small schools are allowed to compete with the big schools. Whereas before, only Alabama could offer you money. Only all these other schools. Now it's an even playing field. It's going to take years to recover, but it will. It's just this is the growing pains it takes. And it's killed college hoops too. Had an Elite Eight squad 2 years ago, and NIL killed that. But they hired a recruiting coach, a marketer. They hired somebody that's going to be able to keep these kids here or entice these kids to come here. It's forced evolution. And I feel that evolution is what soccer in this country needs. Evolution.
I don't think it's gonna get there anytime soon. I don't.
Did you drink negative and Debbie Downer juice in Colombia? And
No,
that's
I'm
the
just being. I am just being real. I just don't see it happening when you have money hungry owners very happy of what product they're putting out right now and living off or piggybacking off the fact that Lionel Messi plays in the MLS.
and you don't think that USL
I
in
don't,
time.
because what's going to be the okay, when Messi leaves, what's the driving force of this league? Can you answer that with certainty? Who's going to be the driving force of this league when Messi leaves?
I'll tell you right now. Hold on, because somebody said it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Because right now, all eyes are on the
Sean said it.
MLS.
Hold on, right here. Wait,
What?
Sean said it. Sean said it.
Where?
Right here. This. It's going to be
You
about
think
that.
that's gonna? But do
I
you
think
think that's
that
gonna be a driving? Do you think that's gonna be a driving factor and a topic of discussion going
in
forward
terms
after
of
he leaves
in
for that?
terms of the league, yes, it's going to be the ability. Hold on, because now I got it. It's going to be the ability of the soccer in this country to keep its talent here. If this place is going, if you are going to succeed in becoming and reaching the full potential of this soccer box, globe, universe, whatever you want to call it, you are going to have to keep your talent here. You have to stop being the Florida Marlins of Europe, where you develop, you find, build, develop, and then sell.
How
It's
many
about keeping
MLS
talent
guys?
here.
I mean, we're bringing in talent too to some extent, but they're there. It's these guys towards most likely towards
Mark
the end of
feels
their
that way.
career. I mean, it's true. Byron, it's true. If Messi, when Messi leaves, the driving force is not going to be that any team's going to can think that they're going to be Atletico Bilbao. It's built on the West Coast with LA, the Northeast Coast with New York right now, and Philadelphia, and then the Southeast Coast with Florida and in Miami. I mean, we are a breeding ground for talent, for some talent, to make moves to bigger clubs, and that's what all we've seen, especially with U.S. men's national team players. I'll give you an example. Toronto, it's not Toronto, Vancouver,
Mm-hmm.
or yes, Vancouver. Alfonso Davies played in the MLS, made his move to where?
To Europe.
This is one right here. Hasn't even they sold him at 14 years old to Man City. Kinemaski was already being looked at by Bayern Munich, Tottenham. Diego Gomez, as we saw, left. All these guys are leaving. The left
Yes.
back from LAFC, the Mexican, went to Barcelona. Flopped, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Weston McKinney. No, Weston McKinney never played in the MLS, but he was in the academy with
All of
Houston
these,
or
all of
Dallas.
these are excellent examples of players being sold to European teams and money going into owners' pockets. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. My thinking is if you can get a team that does this exact same thing you're saying, but the money goes into
Stays
developing,
here.
into you invested into the team. That team becomes theirs. It's you can get. And my biggest thinking is what's the what is it? Is it the Rowdies? There's a team out
What, the Tampa Bay
in
Rowdy?
or yeah, but there's a team out in Naples that made big
Naples
made big,
FC.
they made big noise
I think it's Naples. I think it's Naples. It's Naples FC.
right. If you can get a kid from Naples FC and Inter Miami wants to buy him for I don't know $3 million, then what would $3 million do to Naples FC? It would put them in a position to develop 4 or 5 more guys because they're going to grab the same talent they've been having and be able to forward it more. They may be able to afford to keep these guys a little longer and climb up divisions as opposed to having to sell them immediately because, you know,
Uh, you have a lot of hope for this, man. You have a lot of hope for this pipe dream.
this is what happens when you
I
get me
respect
thinking.
it. You're passionate about it. I like it. That's
I know
fine.
you're
But
you're
I
so busy.
just
You have
I
no
just
interest
we're
in this
so
conversation.
we're the league is we're. I said that I don't have interest. I'm very once I'm right now I'm it's very hard for me to see the other side of it.
I
It's very
think
hard.
I think I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I just think that the USL thing is what is going to eventually. Yes, I think it's going to eventually force events to happen, and those events it'll become kind of a chain of events that will get to a point where you start asking these questions seriously, as opposed to what I'm doing now. I feel like a soccer league here. Eventually, that's what happened. You when back what 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people who were passionate about soccer were talking about a soccer league like we are now. And the question was, yeah, it'll never work. Nobody cares about soccer. And with time, we're here with an MLS. And I think that um right, yes, and that's what I think the USL promotion relegation is going to force the top off of all of these different aspects, and you can't go back. Right. And I don't think the NBA ABA thing, there's too many people that are pro that are I almost did it, that are in favor of pro raw. I almost went pro raw, that are in favor of promotion relegation, that I think there may be too big of an outcry once you get a taste of it.
I just need to see where the league is 3 years from now. That's what I'm waiting for. 3 years from now, where is the league?
Okay. I think that's a fair assessment. I think a little bit longer. I think it should be a 5-year experiment because you do need time. Um, and I'll give you the perfect example. Look at Wrexham. Imagine Wrexham here, where uh, an actor from Naples goes, you know what? We're going to do this big time. Because
You want me to
what's his
start? Is
name?
this what you're telling me? You want me to start a soccer team in Kendall?
I mean, if
You want me to
you
start a soccer team?
we can, we absolutely can.
I mean, you live in Orlando.
Yes, I mean I'm poor, and as Sean said, I am the backbone of soccer in this country. I am poor, so I had to move somewhere where I could actually afford
And if you
to
want me to
live.
start a soccer team in Kendall, I will.
I'm giving you
And then we'll
five
see
years
where
to
it
start a
goes.
soccer team in Kendall. 5 years,
You're what? To
huh?
build a soccer team?
Yeah, I'm giving you.
To
You
build a
have
soccer
five
team?
years, not build one in 5 years. I'm giving you 5 years to build it. Find 11 guys that
I
are
can find it.
dedicated to actually play, and file the paperwork. Play at
Got it.
Bird
All right.
Lakes.
I mean, I can find. I can find. I
Yeah,
mean, I play six aside every Sunday.
Jordan says it's impossible.
In
Listen,
5 years of the
you
fine
have
guys.
you have guys. You have belief here. Jordan, not so much. Jordan
Jordan
thinks
can be my
we're
cat.
all full of shit.
Jordan's my
But
captain. Jordan's my captain. Jordan's my captain. Jordan's gonna
Jordan
be
said
my
it's
number 8.
impossible. He will never be a part of the team. He said it's impossible. He can't become a part of something he
Yeah,
doesn't
no, that
believe
yeah,
in.
of course he'll be part of the team. Because when we grow the team and get to the MLS, he'll be able to play like he like in the MLS. He'll play. That's it.
I think some of the guys that Mark is going to be able to put together might have a little bit more pace than Lujan. So I don't know if they get
I
playing
can
time.
find you 11 guys to play. How good we're gonna be, I don't know yet. We're gonna have to find a place to train, and then everyone's have to quit their jobs, and everyone's or we're gonna be like
Well, you
Auckland
can't quit
FC,
your
side
job.
jobs and
Well,
play.
listen, Auckland came here and They played in the Club World Cup, and they had to put on their jobs on hold. If Auckland can do it, you can do it. See, he's been through the ringer. He says
That's
his
fine.
knees
So
aren't the
he'll
same
be
anymore.
I'll be the owner. He can be my first team coach. He'll be my first team manager. He'll be the manager.
Okay, well, there you go.
I'm sure Jordan can find 11, or he can find 22 guys that would play.
Look, Sean and I will be your executives. Sean and I can absolutely be your executives. What is it, Sean? Atletico Bilbao. Atletico Bilbao all the way. Look, just gotta win the. Yeah. Listen, we easy 4-year plan. We got this. We'll be head of development, head of marketing, head of everything. We got this.
Okay.
We got this. It's possible.
If you say so.
All right, guys. It's been too long. I apologize for derailing the show. I told you it was going to be a good, nuanced discussion. We'll see you guys next week. Maybe Thursday, maybe Wednesday. We'll let you know. Inter Miami has that game on Wednesday next week. And we'll let you know if we wait that extra day to be able to get a recap of that second game into the show. Mark, anything else before we get out of here? I'm sorry I derailed the show this bad.
Let me see. I'm going back to the comments in case I missed something that I want to say. Hold on. No, I think we're good. I think we've covered everything.
Awesome. Well, for everyone here at Kendall Sports Network, for everyone here at False 9, stay tuned. We got some big things coming up that we will be making announcements, hopefully on social media soon. But for everyone here at False 9, we'll see you guys next week. And I hope everyone has a safe 4th of July. We don't need any, what is it, Jean Paul Pierre, whatever. Who's the
Yeah,
JPP, the guy who blew up his fingers. We don't need any of that stuff. All right, guys? Yeah. Have a
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Jason Pierre-Paul. There you go. Have a nice, I don't know. Have a safe 4th of July, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out, guys.